Hi, I'm Mark Brace, Head of Analysis at Osprey Flight Solutions with this week's update. This week, the Osprey system has registered a total of 2,886 incidents, or pings, and the analysis team has published 41 alerts since last Thursday, of which 2 were critical. From a conflict zone overflight perspective, there was another missile test by North Korea early on 20th September. North Korean state media claimed it was the first test of a hypersonic glide vehicle and followed tests of cruise and ballistic missiles a couple of weeks ago. Interestingly, it came a day after the US carried out its own hypersonic missile test, and shortly before the North Korean address at the UN General Assembly in New York, when it criticised US and South Korean military exercises and defended its own weapons development. This Osprey Explore chart reflects the increase in testing activity and rhetoric. Observers have highlighted the apparent advance in technology demonstrated by the latest test, but in terms of the risk to aviation, the issues are similar to those related to short-range ballistic missiles. A key concern is that this test was once again unannounced and conducted without the issuance of any NOTAMs. Further launches are possible in the remainder of 2021. Away from conflict zones, we issued an alert this week on a human trafficking case in Kenya. In late August, 9 Ugandan nationals were arrested at Nairobi's Jomo Kenyatta airport after the Kenyan immigration stamps in their passports were found to be forged. It was subsequently established that they were human trafficking victims who had been recruited in Uganda, likely using fake employment adverts, and were to be flown to the UAE and Oman. Most were female. We've previously issued alerts on the same subject in the same trafficking route and continue to monitor this issue closely. In COVID-related news, in the US, United Airlines said almost 600 staff faced dismissal after failing to comply with new vaccination requirements. This comes after the airline set out its new policy last month, requiring proof of at least one vaccine, and it's one of the first carriers to formally enforce a vaccination mandate. The Nigerian government said 2,000 travellers who flouted the country's COVID-19 travel protocols have had their international passports suspended for 1 year. They are accused of failing to undergo the mandatory arrival quarantine on returning to the country. And finally, we picked up on a couple of safety issues at Tokyo's airports this week. In the first, a monkey was found at Haneda Airport in an aircraft hangar, where it managed to chew wires on equipment used for aircraft repairs. And at Narita Airport, 5 flights were reportedly delayed by an apparent runway intrusion by a turtle. In both cases, there were no reports of any harm to any aircraft, humans or animals, and the offenders were safely removed. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave any comments on what I've covered, and please sign up to our LinkedIn page and join us again next week.